let's reset as we talk about Red River Road, which is I would describe as a pandemic thriller about a virus. And who's infected with this virus? Who knows? But when you're a family of four, it, you know, in a remote location, anything could happen. Let's bring on the director of Red River Road, which I believe is out. Is it in theaters or is it? Hey, Paul, good to meet you. I'm Chris Gore. This is Alan Ng right here, my
Hi, Alan.
colleague.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Great, good to have you on the show. Paul, is the movie? It's out on video on demand currently, or in theaters, or both?
It's just VOD.
VOD. Well, just VOD. Don't say just VOD. That's our bread and butter. We love that. We love movies that are.
So I run a movie theater here on Cape Cod. So we did a 3-week theatrical here. So unless you live near me, it's only VOD.
Congratulations. And by the way, I am loving your background here. Did you make a piece of art out of old film reels?
It is old film reels. We used to own a movie themed restaurant, and we commissioned a sculptor to make that. And when we sold the restaurant, that and it was an 8,000 video library. I scaled down to 4 that lives in my basement. And now looking at your guys' background, I'm kind of wishing I had something down there, but this will do, right?
No, yours is killer. That's awesome. What led to Red River Road? What was there something in the zeitgeist that actually led to the story? Because it seems very timely.
So we were supposed to shoot a movie called Tuna Goddess, which was based off a play my wife wrote. We had it cast, we had money, we had the whole thing. We were supposed to shoot in August of 2020. And when it first started coming out that there was this virus, and I was like, I don't think we're going to be shooting. If this hits, we're done. So I was sort of planning that it wasn't going to happen. And then when they locked us down, I was like, once it was clear we were definitely not going to shoot, I was like, well, I could sit around and be depressed, stuck in our house, or we're all actors. We're all trained actors. I have all the equipment. I have everything I need. What if we shot a feature here in the house? And literally that night I woke up from a dream that's basically the movie that you see, fully fleshed out. I just grabbed a notepad and just wrote down furiously, tried to remember everything before it fades. You know how dreams fade. Within 10 days, I had the script written, and I think 2 weeks after that, we were shooting.
Well, congratulations. I mean, it is when you have all those resources at your disposal. I mean, it's certainly an advantage, but you literally made your dream come true.
Yeah, I was unwilling to sit in just depression over, a failed movie project. It happens all the time. You get close, something happens, and I just wasn't willing to have that be the end of it.
Well, they normally don't even, especially indie movies, don't come together that quickly. I heard a statistic that like from conception to finished film is generally 7 years.
Yeah.
So is that, I mean, like, so Red River Road being made so quickly, that's not normal.
No, it's not normal.
Yeah.
At all.
When you played it at the theater, a theater that you own, like, what was that experience like?
So it's got a full 5:1 mix, and I spent a lot of time on the sound design and the music, and in a theater, it really pops. I mean, it's good, wherever you watch, I think the story holds up despite that, but you get that extra like immersive bit. I had people who streamed it during some of the film festival runs that were virtual that then came to the theater to see it. And afterwards they were like, wow, that's just a different experience when all that gets to shine through, that like stuff that's coming from behind you and coming from the side. And it just adds that extra layer. Plus I'm a child of the 70s. So to me, the screen is where everything should start. And then it finds its way, into other mediums. So I think in those terms.
Well, we might be around the same age, because certainly the 70s cinema is kind of where I grew up, and seeing movies, fortunately, at a dollar theater.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I think we're really close in age, if memory serves.
There we go. There we
Yeah.
go. Well, let's go to some comments and questions from people in our chat. We've got over 300 people watching us live. So here we go. Kid Valhalla says, I've seen movies filmed entirely in a house. How'd Paul end up making his movie look like dog trash like those? I don't know exactly what he means like by that, but what are the challenges of shooting a movie in a house?
I'm a little confused by this question. Is he, because I think our film doesn't look like dog trash.
Yeah, see, that's the point. That's the point. But what's it like? What are some of the challenges of your shooting? And were you living in the house while you were shooting?
Yeah, this is our house.
Oh
so
my God.
The biggest challenge was, when you live in a house and you have two teenage boys, there's a lot of mess that gathers in every corner, every square inch. So it was literally about moving the mess behind the camera at all times. So we'd have to make in front of the lens look empty and sort of, not lived in, because it's supposed to be our summer home in the story. But if you just turn the camera, 15 degrees, you would just see piles of stuff that we just had to shuttle from room to room. That was probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Other questions and some comments here. That is cool looking real art. There you go. And Kid Valhalla says supposed to be not.
Yeah.
I guess you forgot a word. Yeah.
Yeah. Not looking like dog trash. Solomon Thornton says, hello, Sir Paul. Immortal Remus says, any chance of Red River Road getting an international theatrical release?
Currently, it's just North American rights. Gravitas, when they picked it up, that's all they wanted. So I retained theatrical and worldwide. Problem was, it was the big international, I forget what it's called, where they go and everyone buys and does their wheeling and dealing. So I wanted to let that die down and get through this phase, and then we're going to approach some of the international. We did festivals in the UK and in Australia, and we're really successful there. Won an award at Night of Horror. So we want to get it out there to the world. So that's coming.
Davina Duckworth says, Red River Road sounds very intense. I will check it out. And Solomon Thornton asks, what was your favorite scene to shoot?
I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's a scene where we get drunk. And I think that was the most fun. And we get asked all the time at Q&A, like, did you guys really get drunk to shoot that? They're like, nope, I just have a lot of sense memory to draw upon.
Cool.
But that was a lot of fun to shoot that.
Can I ask you, shooting during COVID, was that a blessing or a curse for the ultimate product?
Honestly, I thought as we started off that it was going to be really easy to shoot empty streets and record like dead silent sound. And I don't know if it's because Cape Cod's sort of an escape place, but a lot of people just flooded out of Boston and came here. So there were just people everywhere. So I had to basically rebuild the entire sound design with silence. Like everything had to be added because none of the live sound we could use because there'd be cars or lawnmowers. There's a sequence where one of the characters managed to get out and see part of the world. And it was constantly waiting for that 1 second where no one's driving through a shot. And it actually was super challenging. And I thought that was going to be the cakewalk part of it.
Glenuccio asks, which horror movies inspired you the most? Or movie?
Definitely. So it's funny, in making the film, I didn't really question it because we were in such a rush. And going back now and looking at it, I can clearly see The Thing is a huge influence on it. Obviously, The Shining, because you have an isolated place with, a small cast of characters. And then, interestingly enough, I just did this thing called Cinemagic Film Festival at our theater. It was 50 classic movies. We showed it all September long. And one of the films we showed was Close Encounters. And I was just amazed how many little touch points of Close Encounters just tonally apply to Red River Road. So that obviously was lurking in the background.
It's weird what can be swirling in your psyche that kind of resurfaces subconsciously on film when you're making a movie.
Yeah.
Ryan Landis says, when the pandemic hit, I can honestly say that filming a movie in and around my house never came to mind. Props to you. Well, it's weird because they said well, it's the pandemic. What are we going to do? Now's the time this is the time to quit your job, write that novel you've thought about, make that film. I mean, we started to build up our YouTube channel because we could live stream like we're talking to you right
Right.
now. Where are you right now?
I'm in the house.
You're actually in the house.
Yeah,
You're
Oh,
on
that's-
set. Yes.
I'm on set.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
I was going to say, just to circle back on what you were saying,
Mhm.
my wife and I have a joke that there are at least 20 house projects that will now never get done.
Yeah.
Our opportunity was to do them during the pandemic. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
So
But
don't
you made a
feel too
movie.
jealous out there. We made a
But you made a
movie,
movie.
but for anybody that like got their kitchen counters installed, we didn't do that. So yeah, you've got
Well,
one up on us in that regard.
Congratulations to you, Paul. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with our audience here. The movie is Red River Road. It is out now on video on demand.
Yep.
And hopefully hitting international screens sometime soon. Paul, thank you for joining us on the Film Threat Livecast. We appreciate it.
Totally my pleasure. Thank you guys.
Cool. All right.
Thank
Take care, Paul. Later.
All right, you
Have a
too.
good day.
Cool.